Between July 30th and early August 2026, thousands of digital vaults were breached in a highly coordinated simultaneous strike. In a matter of days, attackers drained over $130 million, approximately 1,850 Bitcoin, vanishing into the blockchain. The funds were siphoned simultaneously from more than 4,500 distinct, entirely separate wallet addresses around the globe. Forensic analysis quickly identified a single common denominator linking every compromised account. They all relied on the cold card hardware wallet. For years, cold card devices have been regarded as the gold standard for cryptocurrency custody. They are built as military-grade vaults, engineered specifically to operate completely offline. If the private keys are permanently locked inside an isolated physical device that never communicates with an infected network, a mass-scale digital drain should be technically impossible. Yet the blockchain confirmed $130 million was gone. The foundation of this security model is the air gap. An air-gapped system maintains absolute physical isolation from unsecured networks, meaning it never connects to Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or the internet. Inside the device, a secure element generates and stores the BIP39 seed phrase and private keys. By design, these cryptographic keys never leave the silicon. Because the architecture prevents external data transmission, traditional network-based malware, phishing links, and remote execution attacks are completely neutralized. The August 2026 exploit specifically targeted two generations of this hardware, the Cold Card MK2, produced from 2017 to 2019, and the MK3, produced from 2019 to 2021. The security of an air-gapped device is bounded strictly by its physical state integrity and proactive firmware maintenance. The blockchain drain bypassed the underlying cryptography entirely. This was a physical heist executed through global supply chains. The vulnerability stems from the bootloader, the initial sequence of low-level code that executes the moment the device receives power, before the main operating system even loads. This schematic shows the cold card microcontroller's intended architecture. In a secure boot process, execution flows cleanly from power on to the operating system load, running internal checks to validate the device's integrity. However, in firmware versions prior to 4.00, a specific execution window early in the boot sequence is left completely unprotected. An attacker with physical access to the board can introduce a hardware interrupt, forcing the boot sequence to freeze precisely during this vulnerable window. Halting the sequence at this exact millisecond allows the attacker to manipulate the instruction set, routing the execution flow completely around the firmware's built-in security verification barriers. This bypassed state grants the external vector direct, unrestricted access to the normally protected memory sectors. From here, the attacker simply reads the internal memory and extracts the plain text recovery seed phrase directly off the physical microchip. The core operational constraint of this exploit is access. It requires direct physical manipulation of the circuitry for a window of 15 to 30 minutes. Network isolation becomes completely irrelevant when the physical execution state of the processor can be manipulated to spill its own secrets. The air gap defense is bypassed entirely. A hardware vulnerability that requires 15 minutes of physical board access poses a severe logistical hurdle. To steal $130 million, the threat actors needed to physically touch thousands of devices across the world. To execute this massive global heist, they achieved this impossible scale by completely compromising the decentralized supply chain of the hardware itself. The first vector was the second-hand market. Attackers systematically sold pre-compromised hardware to victims seeking a discount, intercepting the devices before they ever reached the end user. The second vector utilized targeted social engineering. Highly coordinated phishing campaigns convinced existing users to mail their current hardware to fake processing centers for mandatory security upgrades. Upon receiving the device, the attackers executed the 15-minute bootloader extraction, harvested the keys, and then shipped out the seemingly fully functional hardware. Rather than sweeping the funds immediately, the threat actors demonstrated extreme patience. They sat on thousands of extracted seed phrases, allowing the wallets to accumulate value for years before triggering the simultaneous blockchain drain in August 2026. The attackers avoided breaking the cryptography or deploying complex malware. They manipulated the human supply chain to get their hands on the silicon. Forensic analysis uncovered an essential detail. CoinKite, the device manufacturer, actually discovered this vulnerability and released a patch to fix it in 2021. This timeline plots the release of the MK2 and MK3 models. The exact code required to prevent the $130 million heist existed for 5 entire years before the attack took place. The critical junction point occurs with the release of firmware version 4.0.0 in 2021. Users who proactively applied this patch secured their devices, terminating the bootloader threat vector entirely. The thousands of users missed or ignored the update, carrying a latent, active vulnerability for half a decade straight into the massive exploit spike of August 2026. This highlights a structural flaw inherent in these isolated systems. Because they are completely air-gapped, they lack automated, over-the-air update mechanisms. Security experts have pointed out that passive software warnings on a desktop application are insufficient. For vulnerabilities of this magnitude, critical patches must be engineered to be unignorable, forcing compliance before granting access to funds. An engineered patch is functionally useless if the hardware architecture relies entirely on infallible human discipline to manually apply it. Assessing the fallout, Bitcoin expert Andreas Antonopoulos noted that the illusion of absolute physical isolation contributed heavily to the success of the attack. This conceptual triad models his argument. Assuming that hardware alone guarantees security creates the exact operational complacency that allows an exploit to scale. Secure hardware provides the foundation, but it must be continuously treated as physically vulnerable. Software requires aggressive maintenance. Legacy flaws become permanent liabilities unless firmware is actively updated. Finally, human operation demands strict protocols. Users must reject secondhand hardware and diversify significant holdings across multiple distinct devices. A failure in any single node of this triad collapses the entire security model, regardless of whether the device ever connects to the internet. Absolute air-gap immunity is a myth. Security is a dynamic state, requiring continuous, rigorous maintenance across every layer of the architecture.